to share a story with you about a retreat that I went to about 2 months ago. It was the Karen Drucker Women's Retreat. There was going to be lots of singing, lots of music. And I went with 8 other women from the center. And I had to reflect back on my first Karen Drucker retreat, which was about 18 years ago, the best I can remember. And it was at Unity Village. And I was so excited to be going to this one because I had been illuminated by that one and I couldn't wait to be here. So it was being held in Oviedo, Florida, which is like northern Orlando. And I left in plenty of time, I thought, but I didn't factor in late afternoon Orlando traffic. And the I-4 was blocked. If anybody's driven I-4 lately, you know it gets blocked. So I-4 was blocked, and my GPS kept saying things like, exit I-4 onto unnamed road. And I would take it, and eventually I'd get back on I-4, and then in 15 minutes it would say it again, and then in 10 minutes it would change its mind and say, stay on I-4. So I'm starting to get really anxious about this. There was a lot of traffic and a lot of changes and a lot of slowdowns and a lot of go fasts, and I'm just feeling anxious. But I finally got through Orlando to my exit, which was Alafaya Trail, and I thought, "Whew, I have arrived. This is it." And I stopped to supercharge my car for the trip home Saturday night because I wanted to be here Sunday morning. And I realized I hadn't had lunch yet. It was about 4:30, and so I got something to eat and was at the supercharger maybe 15 minutes and checked the GPS, and it said, your destination is 1.8 miles away. And I thought, okay, I've got this now. So I got back on the highway, and it was bumper to bumper, a very congested area, and I drove my 1.8 miles, and the GPS said, turn right, you are at your destination. So I turned right, and I was in a Walgreens parking lot. And I got kind of panicky feeling. I had entered the right address, and, what am I going to do now? So I saw a church. It was kind of behind the Walgreens. There was a dirt road leading to it. So I took the dirt road, and I went to the church. It was a Catholic church. I thought, I'm not sure this is right, but, this is the address that I was going to. And I got out, and there were some men standing out in the yard, and I said, do you men know anything about the Karen Drucker Women's Retreat here tonight? And they said, no, but we're having a fish fry, so stay for a meal. You're welcome to do that. So I get back in my car, which had betrayed me, totally betrayed me. And I remembered I could ask verbally, so I said, please navigate to Canterbury Retreat Center. And it popped up, and I realized I was on the wrong end of the Alafaya Trail, and I had to go all the way back through to get to the other end to the retreat. So at least I was on the right road, and I knew where I was going, but it was quite a drive. And our gang the other women were gathering at 5:45. Dinner was at 6 p.m., and so I pulled up right at 5:45, came running in. We all hugged. We all shared stories of the traffic getting up there. It was a lot of commiserating, and it was time to go into dinner. So we went into dinner. And of course, I had just had lunch. But anyway, I went in for dinner. And we went outside, and it was an absolutely lovely setting. It was a lovely setting. It was trees all around. There was a lake off in the distance. It was peaceful, so we sat down to eat, and it started raining. It wasn't raining hard, but, it was enough that we had to get out of the rain. So we came back in and kind of scattered, finding a place where we could stand or sit and eat. And I went to find my room key because I hadn't checked in yet, and registration was already closed by this time. But I got my room key. Everything was still in my car. And then came the announcement that the retreat was about to start, so go into this big room and have a seat. So I sat down, and I was feeling tired, frazzled, anxious, scattered. You can add the words to it, but one of them was not spiritual. I was just not there. And Karen Drucker started singing. I don't remember what her first song was, but then her second song started. I had never heard it before. It was a new song, and we're going to listen to that now.
Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. So blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. So
So that sentence, sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. I heard it. I heard it. And a sense of peace just kind of bubbled up within me and surrounded me. And I knew that God had blessed me right then, in that moment of frazzledness and anxiety. All I had to do was be open to receive the blessing. I did not have to go find God or do anything else to feel God's presence. God was right there with me. So that one sentence led me to reflect on truths that I needed to remember again. They're truths that I knew deep in my heart, truths I have learned before. But I want to share 4 lessons that I got with you from that retreat. The first one is that the God of my understanding is here, right where I am, always. I don't have to pray harder, read 4 daily devotional books, take a class, read another spiritual book, or even go to a retreat to find God. I don't have to pray, looking for God, hoping that God will notice me. God is always with me, right where I am, always. And that's the truth for me. I know it is the truth for you too. And the second thing I realized was that we each have the same amount of God inside of us. We each came into the human experience with all the God there is, with all the God stuff there is. Karen Drucker did not have more within her than I have in me. Reverend Lane does not have more of the God stuff in her than each one of you has in you. Reverend Dieter has a full measure of the God stuff, and so do you. So does everyone else. Each person in this room, each person in this community, family members, friends, enemies, even politicians. But that is the truth. No one has more or less than anyone else. So what is this God stuff that I'm talking about? It is the qualities of God, all the qualities of God that are given to us so freely. It is peace. You already have all the peace within you right this moment. You have all the peace there is. When peace of mind is elusive, we each already have what we're looking for within us. We don't have to beg God for it. Peace is not somewhere else. It is already here within you and within me. So what about love? We hear that God is love. It is who we are, and everyone is love. We are all filled with all the love there is already. It's how we experience it or use it that makes a difference in our lives. You are not lacking in peace and love or in any of the other God qualities. They are already present within you. Joy, harmony, wisdom, truth, peace, love, all the things we seek, we already have. And our soul knows that truth. There is a place within each of us that knows that truth. God gives to me so freely, gives to you freely. And so the question is, are we open to receive God's blessings? Are we open to receive? Are you willing to believe that sometimes you need only to stand right where you are to be blessed? Now, these were my first two realizations on that Friday night of the retreat. What a gift. What a gift. And Saturday, we went into other retreat activities. We broke into groups. We had lessons. We did singing. We had a talent show. We had a wonderful, wonderful time. And I'm just going to add this because it came up in Sacred Cup this morning. One of the things we did in after the talent show was Karen insisted we stand there and hear the applause. Because how often do people give you love, give you compliments, say you did great, and you don't want to hear it. You know, we don't take it in and let it feel like the love that it is. And it was hard. I started walking off and she said, no, come back. We sang a song at that retreat, our group did. So as the retreat was coming to a close Saturday night, Karen encouraged each of us to set a goal for the upcoming week of something that we would do as a result of the retreat. And as I was thinking about it, I remembered one of the things I had done early in my spiritual journey was have Karen Drucker's very first CD, Songs of the Spirit, play over and over and over again in my car. I played only that CD for a couple of years, often humming the songs to myself. I certainly knew every word because it was helping me remember God during my day. My days were very busy, and I was new on the spiritual path. I was learning spiritual principles that were new to me, and I kept forgetting about God. I kept forgetting that God was with me all of the time. And so having that music play in my car kind of reminded me and helped me reconnect a bit. And later when I worked for hospice, I had a loop of her, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed. We've all heard that song of hers. It was on that first CD. And I played that over and over and over again in my car. In fact, I made copies of it and had all of the nurses and aides and whoever on my team play it in their car too, so that we could remember that the work we were doing was blessing us. And it was like a mantra, I'm so blessed. So I decided in the upcoming week I needed to have Karen Drucker's music playing in my car once again, because obviously I had forgotten it on the way up. And CDs no longer worked in my car, and I'm at times technologically challenged, even hard saying the word. And this meant that I needed to download the music onto my phone and figure out how to make it play through the speakers in my car. And so I committed to ask for help from someone who knew how to do that if I couldn't figure it out myself. And asking for help is not easy for me. It is not easy for me. I knew I could ask a friend that had the same car I do, and he plays loud music in his car all the time, so I knew he had figured it out. I see him almost every day. I could have asked my grandson. He has music playing in his car, you know. And even though I had a plan of who to ask for help, I felt a little bit anxious about it. I didn't want to look too old or too stupid or not with it. I knew this was easy, but I just didn't know how to do it. And those thoughts of not looking too stupid or too old or too not with it, I carried those back to old beliefs that I used to have about myself. And I think they're core beliefs that many of us have about ourselves. And they no longer serve me. They're things like, I'm not good enough, or there is something wrong with me, or I'm not worthy. Those do not serve me, and they do not serve you, and they're not the truth. It is time to release those old thought patterns. So Monday morning after the weekend retreat, I'm back at the supercharger. It's about 8 a.m. charging my car, and I sat there with my phone, and I figured out how to buy Karen Drucker's 22nd album, My Heart Is With You. And I was trying to figure out, I could make it play on my phone. I was trying to figure out how to make it come into my car when someone knocked on my car window. Driver sat. And I jumped and I looked up, and it was my friend Will and another man I knew, Darcy. Now, Will was who I was going to ask for help. And he had just shown up while I was trying to do this. And I told him what I was trying to do, and he immediately reached in my car and hit something, and music started. And I said, but I want to know how to do this myself. I want this to be easy, and I want an app on my phone or something. And he said, I know your car, but I don't know the iPhone. But Darcy here is a tech expert, and he knows iPhones. So Darcy took my phone, and he said, oh, you already have the app. It's this one. And he showed me how to use it, and it was just that easy. There was nothing to it. Spirit had sent the help I needed right to me. It knocked on my car window. I hadn't even had to ask. It was just given to me freely. And they left, and I sat there like in this glow of just being amazed at how easy this had been. And I realized that once again, sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. So I had been blessed by Will and Darcy. God had taken my wish, my thought, and sent me exactly who and what I needed. And this leads me to other lessons that I learned from the retreat. And this is the third one. And we've got a slide for this. It's a song I've heard most often at Unity, but I just love the lyrics. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peacefulness, and know that God is always there. Now, when I first heard that song, I thought, whoa, I'm not sure I want all my thoughts to be prayers. But learning to listen to what our thoughts are saying can be such a life-changing experience. When I slipped back and let my thoughts create anxiety for me, when I felt nervous about asking someone for help in my car, I probably thought this was going to be hard or scary. Now, I still make mistakes, but I need to erase hard and scary from my vocabulary because life does not have to be that way when I'm trusting. So learning I still learn from the mistakes I made. You can see that. But learning to watch my thoughts is probably been the most important change in my spiritual growth. It is much easier to fill your head with positive thoughts rather than negative thoughts. And it takes practice and intention and more practice and more intention. But I am much better at it than I used to be. I know when I've got negative thoughts going on in my head. And what a blessing that is, because then I can change. The song also says, seek a higher consciousness. And that is for you to know that you are not inadequate in any way. You are not less than. You are always enough. And you are always worthy. Now, this asking for help, when someone asks you for help, aren't you happy to share your wisdom, your knowledge, your time? Aren't you happy to be asked? I know that I am. I am happy to be asked. And if someone says no, and we're all free to say no when someone asks for help, we need to know that. We may not have the energy or the time or the bandwidth right then to give. And so anybody that we ask for help, if they say no, we just go on and ask somebody else. It's not about us. It's about them. And we need to remember that. We need to learn to ask for help and then be open to receive it. Open to receive it. And the fourth thing I learned was to ask and accept help with grace. Allow it to feel like love, because it is love. It is one person sharing their God energy of love with another person. And there's always enough love to go around. And, you know, when someone asks me for help and I give help, I feel love towards them. I am grateful that I've had an opportunity to do that. So let's acknowledge that we are able to bless each other. Let us open ourselves to receive. And until we can receive with an open heart, we can never fully give with an open heart. It is a cycle. We give and we receive. So to close today, 4 lessons that were really things that I needed to remember and put back into my life. And as we grow, and I've grown with books, classes, retreats, daily devotionals, all helpful things, we begin to consciously broaden our concept of the God of our understanding, no matter what we call him, her, or it. We begin to see the face of God everywhere, in all other people. You are the face of God. And we begin to see the face of God, most importantly, when we look in the mirror. I am the face of God. So it's time for us to quit playing small and accept that God shines its light through us, as us. It is who we are. And remember, sometimes I need only to stand right where I am to be blessed. Now I'd like to invite some women that were at the retreat that want to sing this song with me. We're all going to sing this song. So,
sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed. Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be so blessed.
So I want everyone to remember that God is not hard to find. God is right here, right now, with us, expressing as us. And you are blessed. Namaste.
Sometimes I need only to stand wherever I am to be blessed.